Hello and welcome. It is the completion of the 28th day of February 2020. I might have said the 20th in the last video I did, which was gold and silver. And I might have entitled it the 20th as well, too. No, I titled it 28. Okay, 28th day. All bets trade, yada yada. Your own risk, your own reward. For myself, risk reward management is always job number one. We'll go over cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, having an interesting, spectacular day, but daily time frame on the dominance, it's, well, let's go to the next chart. That's Bitcoin itself. And for today's session, it was up 5.6%. After yesterday, it was up 3.5%. The day before that, it was up 3.22%. 8,300 low here, 9,300 high now, $9,386. At least here on the Coinbase exchange. But we see this Fibonacci line at 98.14. And you know what? Sometimes it hits it, sometimes it doesn't. It's only luck when it does. Here was that rare spot down below, pierced extra higher. And it's not the first time Bitcoin did that. 3,000 way back when. Way back when would be this one here. This was pierced above by like $60 or something, like 70 maybe. I had 3,000 and something on that line anyway. We can see this level of resistance here, January like 14th area. I mean, excitation of the 18, clear break above it, has hardly went above it. I mean, come on, it's going to 10,000 and it's going to do it soon. That's what that's how I look at things like that. Hourly time frame, we can see it came up here on this high in here, retested it this morning at 9, successful correctionary phase after its failed breakout, but this one doesn't look to be failing. And if it comes back down, where it came from is like 9,000 low, medium to 91.30, so 90.50. And 90.30, 9,050 area to like 91.30. And technically, if we go up last high, 9,188. And that's, of course, if it's ready to do any of that stuff. In 1 minute time frame, it looks like it might. I mean, after all, we can see that we had this nice move at 18.35. And now a nice little up run, how it did. Couple higher highs and lows. Decent sized move, but it obviously... buyers came back in, but was unable to get above the 18 average of highs, and now it's breaking down below. So short term, yeah, maybe we'd fill some of this empty space, come back, but it's got to get above 94.20 for us to say, okay, this thing is ready to go for like the 98-ish kind of number. So going back on these time frames, excitation of the 18, yada, yada, yada. On the triple day chart, I mean, it's just a good setup. You have this within this down move. Here's a spot where it establishes resistance, but it wasn't even able to come back and even test that level. And it failed this support, resisted it. It succeeded retesting support here from this low. And then this correctionary test when it got excitation of the 18 here, establishing this high, retesting this area. And we can see how it's came back to the band, now starting to leave it. This is all looking good. And looking at this, we'll look next on the weekly chart. And things are just going to be looking so spectacular here. And this is as far as I'm concerned. From the lows in here, obviously filling just a little bit of this empty space from key low to key high. Doing so here. Not quite, but very close to a 38.2% retracement. Usually it's a little more. And then this high, which is filling a good amount, but it's still a noticeable not amount. Meaning this is what it didn't fill. From this low to this high. And then the space from this high to this low, well, it didn't fill that much of it. And we see in here that as it comes to has all of this resistance, this was the period it broke it. Established this, the pause period, an inside week. And now it looks like we're leaving it. 18 starting to rise and all that stuff. And when you have that, but you don't, when you make this kind of high or low, and you make this kind of lower high, and you're moving forward after this kilo, and even for that matter, even this kilo, well, this looks pretty spectacular to me moving forward. And to finish it off within the monthly, what do bear markets do? Well, they go down, yeah, of course, but from what was a bull market, because it goes bull, bear, whatever, okay. Well, here was a key high. Well, it's got to fail this. Yeah, okay, so here's where it breaks down below it, and it establishes its support. So now it's got to resist and fail between the 18, and does this look like it's failing the 18, or does it look like it's, well, it looks like it's failing this in here. At least to me, that's what it does. So the fact that, and I've been saying this from the whole time, it didn't resist the 18 lows or highs. And it had a significant break above it, basically about a 50% retracement area from the 18 average of highs and previous high from this point to this point. It got it above it pretty good. And then this correction is like interesting. It's been a sideways correction. We can see it's a small downtrend, does not escape below the 18 lows, but the period, there's like 6 of them, a half a year of all of this yada yada stuff of Bitcoin grinding its way lower. Now, it still hasn't gotten above the 18. It's got to get nicely above the lows or highs to form any type of bull or bear market. So the fact that it establishes support, if it does start to go below, price action going down there, well, that'd be enough to turn this going lower and we'd be in a bear market. But in the situation of getting above, if all we're talking about is having price action come out of this area here, well, that's just only going to barely make this rise, and we're pretty much still in what would be like a neutral situation. So it's, if it gets out above here, well, we're starting now to talk about testing into these serious levels. It's got to get above in here. We're looking at like 161, 200,000. And you got to think that an 8, 10, 12, 15x gain on a break of resistance after where these previous highs are going to come into play is going to be just that. Markets move logarithmically, not linearly, which is why when I do these videos, and I know you can't, actually I can show it to you this way. I put this in log scale. And of course, when I do that, I get that flicker sucks. And this numbers don't come up. But anyway, log is on. Now if I flip this down, will this be fine? Yeah. Just positioning it for the viewing purposes of this video. Let's take a look at a few altcoins. And I'll start off with Bitcoin Cash against Bitcoin. Priced in at 4.12% of its price at 0.04, and you can see the number. Its birthday was literally August the 1st, 2017. If you had Bitcoin, you got an equal amount back. If you had 4 Bitcoin, you got 4 Bitcoin Cash. At 0.03, you got that. Whatever it was is what you got. And then it's been trading ever since. You can see there's not much data we can use with the monthly, but we've had enough time now. It's over 2.5 years old. And as the time goes on, well, we're all, another way of putting it, are we in the early stages or not? I don't know. I do know, actually. Let's just move on to the weekly. I shouldn't have to tell you. You should see exactly what I'm going to be telling you in the next 6 to 8 seconds. But when you just sit back and look at this, you already know this was a failed breakout. And it already did its thing afterwards. Its thing. And right now I'm trying to find my delete button, which is easily done now. I don't know why I can't find it. Anyway, its thing after its failure was, we can see 18 didn't do so well here, and it had to move down below. After that, it had successfully held what it established at the end of 2018. Failed breakout, oftentimes when failed moves in one direction gives you a fast move to the opposite side. Opposite direction. I like the word concise move. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's medium. But along the way, this resistance was established here. So we can see that this is changing. We got this little break here. Kind of obvious. And we can see the 18 average starting to rise. So an attempt to revert the trend and fill some of this empty space. And we know when cryptos go. When they decide to go, they can go. So whether this happens now, whether this happens next week, next month, or even next year, to see prices just fill a lot of it, like, oh my, OMG, how they do it so quick, might only take, and this is, by the way, this is what why this was on the top of the screen. I was looking for this button, which not just exited. Now I don't know where it is anymore. Crazy. But it's going to fill a lot of that empty space fast. We look at Bitcoin Cash on the daily time frame. The low in here happened right around the Christmas time frame. And then we have this resistance. So many highs it made. But look at the volatility in here. Just fantastic that things are starting to spark up, because look at the volatility back then. And yay. And I say yay because it was low, and I don't like low volatility. Successful correctionary move, and it's just showing a lot of strength right now at the 18. And what I like to see in a spot like this, where it rallies up this, it resisted it here. I want to see it support this area. Support here, resist here. Well, we haven't resisted that area, at least not as of yet. But if we could support it, and even down in here is fine, rising 18, meet up to a higher low to this. And then that would be a productive signal as well. But the prospects, I think, for Bitcoin Cash as we move forward is magnificent. Now, this is an interesting thing that I think is worth note. Oftentimes, for failed moves in one direction gives you, concise move in the opposite. Okay, well, here's this failed break. It already had this little move in here, successfully correcting. So at 9 o'clock, it attempted its break, but it rejected it immediately. Okay, that's fine. So hold where we came from. That's this little area here. And it had an opportunity to break down in here. This one in here, especially because we had this little high here. It didn't do it. So when you see the spot where it's supposed to break down and it doesn't, and it still can, but it doesn't look like it's going to do it. To me, this gives me optimistic signs that this has got more chance of filling this empty space next than it does of filling this next. Now let's take a quick look at Litecoin, which it's still loading now. That ticks. This is Binance. Well, anyway, as it goes from these highs of about 1.8%, now we're at we're 3/5 of 1% right now at 0.0065. But Bitcoin Cash has been making a good series of higher highs and higher lows on the daily, where this has managed to make, well, we'll call it a matching high to up here, but we'll call it a higher high to the breakdown ones, 1 at the 61 handle. And even this high here, whichever one of these two you want to pick. So it's made one higher high, whatever. It's having its correctionary phase, and it's been doing so ever since January the 19th. It originally did so within the highs. It corrected it, but was unable to break out. Then it had this down move, and it got below it, but it obviously didn't hold and stay below it. Couldn't even, every day has been staying within it completely, as we can see. But it's been several days doing it. Barely starting to rise. Don't know who's going to win yet. If it has a clear breaker above here, things are probably going to be looked towards now filling in here. If this thing fails, now we're talking about a 61.8% retracement usually. And it just seems it's obvious that I don't know where it's going to be. And by the way, one of those words I didn't need to add when I said I don't know where it's going to be. One of them. It might be going. It also might be don't. Tezos is next. Kilo, key high. Kilo. Well, we got this move above the 18. Having a correctionary test with the 18, struggling a little bit. Still can stay and hold above it, but and I don't know, remember putting this line in, why I did, but I did. It's got a smaller one, so it's key Fibonacci. Well, these are the Fibonacci from this low, this high. That was a 23.6% down move. This is 38.2. And you know, I thought it was kind of odd that it didn't support it. So to me, this does look like if this fails, it's an obvious spot to where my target level is. That's a pierce below 1293. And if this is able to successfully correct within it, then I know it's got to get above like 1830 to like in the 1800s just to get above the 18 average of highs, and then above resistance is like 1900. And when I see a situation like this, if it pierces below a level like this and then it corrects it successfully, then it breaks out, not only do I think it's going to take this level out, it's probably going to take it at like 2100 all the way up to like previous high of 25 is the next key level, and that's if it does find resistance there. But it's how this test works. Either this is a failed breakout, we're going down to 1284, or it's a successful reversal of trend, resumption, however you want to call it, and then it'll just be making higher highs and higher lows like we've seen in here thereafter that. And we're going to finish this off with Tezos. Then I'm going to start talking about fantasy sports and gambling, risk reward management, all that fun stuff. At least it is for me. Support, well, I mean, it's just sideways in this, and still the verdict of how this is going to play out. Because if this fails, we're going back to this lower end of this range. We have to now just even, resistance is where we came from again, 1300. If we get above that, then we're talking about this high, around 1530. Getting above that, we're talking about 1800, and then this little range in here at 24. And this congestion area and previous high about 36. And then 5,000 we were up before. Those are all the key levels. Okay. I did a video earlier this week called Easy Money on fantasy football Pro Bowl. It was as I stated. If all you did was just play wide receivers in it, I mean, I nailed everything I said pretty much perfectly. I just deserve an Emmy. I mean, oh no, whatever. I do, but I don't. I mean, 20, 30 people seen it. I had about a 235% return on investment on such, and I'm just flabbergasted with the fact that I'm able to do what I've done my whole life. I've always been a gambler. I mean, crypto trading is most certainly a form of it as well. And it's cool to just keep on looking at this. Oh, okay, so what do we got here? What's winning? What's losing? And I'm not trading as many coins, but I enjoy doing cryptos on a part-time level. I like to look at it like just before 7 o'clock. Reason is because these percentage changes. If I'll see where I stand, and then I can know based on this. If nothing happens, I don't have to do anything. If something goes up big or down big, then I'll adjust to that situation as it is. And if I know a coin in particular, if this goes up just a bit more, then I'll look at that coin, focus on it, put alerts in, and do what I need to do, all that kind of fun stuff. But in fantasy sports, like on DraftKings, I realized that I can have a pretty big edges, and by doing such, I'm able to accomplish yet more games that I can say in my life that I've done very good at. Crypto trading has been good for me, and I still feel it's good to continue to be good. It's one of those types of jobs, and this trading itself, it's just easy to do. It's like, nothing to do. Oh, this goes up, make a trade. Okay, I'm going to trade this much. Okay, let's move the coins in the wallet if you have to. Make the trade, do whatever more wallet withdrawals, stuff like that. You're done. Go on your normal life and do other things you're doing. That's what I love about the whole crypto part. But again, I've had a new enthusiasm of the whole hockey, soon-to-be baseball, and the fact that the Pro Bowl was a tremendous opportunity. It's like a once-a-year thing. And it coincides with hockey, also another one-in-a-year thing of a great advantage. And just understanding how the numbers go. It's a numbers game, and I love numbers myself. And when you understand risk-reward management for both words, understand worst-case scenario on the risk that you're putting out, where do I stand, where do I move from here? Reward scenario. How do I build my bankroll up to the largest that I possibly can? Because for hockey, I'm betting maximum stakes in tonight's game between the Calgary Flames hosting the St. Louis Blues, which is like $150, $160. And I could do more if I wanted. That's the most the game will let me play. Hockey's not a big, high-volume game. Basketball, there's one game I could bet like a couple grand on. And I thought of a strategy. I'm going to put it to the test. $5. See how it does. And baseball, I figured do big stakes. So my calculations is 6 figures a year. I could easily make doing this. So I'm going to go through that attempt, see if I can do it. And not only attempt to become successful in another form of gambling, but then start to compete with everybody else that plays the game, is being the number one fantasy person on the internet. On Sunday, it's a Super Bowl. They have a game that costs $10 to buy. About 500,000 people are in it. $4 million prize pool, which is like, 400,000 people would make it go to 4 million. Then they have like an extra 700,000. That's the rake. They have a lot, but it's not as bad when you understand how you get extra rake dollars back, thus reducing the rake. And I know how to do it. Anyway, so $10 game. And for the last few weeks, I've been just playing games, trying to win as many tickets as I can for it. In the second round of the playoffs, I did very good. I won 11 of those tickets. So now I got guaranteed 11 chances at $1 million at that point. And that was fantastic. And then in the conference finals, I didn't do so well. It's a hard game. And I didn't succeed. I lost some coin. I only won 4 tickets. And I spent a lot more than $40 to try to win. That's 15 tickets that I have. And I gave the strategy on how to win. In the Pro Bowl, I played every game possible at 10 cents and 25 cents for those tickets, and about 2 or 3 $1 tickets to win it. And I won 21 more. So now I got 36 $10 tickets for Super Bowl Sunday. 36 chances to win $1 million. And I'm using my strategies that I can to give me my best chance that I possibly have of getting victories and putting the best return on investment that I possibly can. Living out like just quote unquote dreams as far as a game level, like dream as far as how you want to win the game, because that's what this is. Never refer to trading as just that. It's a game. And I compare stuff like the Mario Brothers or any video game of the past. You try to get those stars or crowns, or you're trying to get gold coins, and you're trying to get your score high. You build inventories up and you buy stuff with your inventory. It's fun to play. When you play those games, SimCity, another game, you try to just do well at it. I mean, you kick ass and get good scores. You kick ass and you get good scores. But in crypto trading, when you get good ass and kick ass and get good scores, that means your Bitcoin score numbers are higher. And then you can do things like buy gold and silver with it. Oh, that's all fun to do, yada, yada, yada. And as far as that, I'm going to now complete this video. If you are interested in winning the Super Bowl on that, I have made videos in the past, and I've explained links on how to get them. So it's type my name in, NFL Showdowns. I made like 3 of them. One right before last year's Super Bowl, but 2 months ago. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.